Good afternoon. It is News Radio 1029 KARN. It is 2 o'clock here in the great state of Arkansas. Well, it's 2:06 here in the great state of Arkansas. And we're getting ready to kick off another day of the Schmidt Show. Yesterday, I got a little wound up and kind of threw the show sheet out the window for the first segment, and so I'm gonna be a little bit more responsible today. We're actually going to talk about what's on the show sheet, and I'm going to try to avoid going on any rants about climate change and fear mongering and all of that by the radicals in the media and in our government and all that kind of stuff. So we're going to actually stick to the script today. One of the stories we're going to get to today, and interestingly enough, it's not being covered by anybody in the media, not being covered by anybody of the mainstream media crowd. I Googled this up, tried to find it. I'm not seeing anything by ABC, NBC, MSNBC, CNN, or any of those. I didn't even see any articles from Fox News, to be honest, but where I did see it was on Breitbart, and the story is apparently an actress named Leah DeLaria. She was in the TV show Orange is the New Black and the Netflix show Orange is the New Black, which I've never watched, so I don't know anything about it. I would not have recognized this person, and quite honestly, I wouldn't have known she was a woman. So the actress's name is Leah DeLaria. She played apparently a character named Bing Boo on Orange is the New Black, and I would have thought this is a dude. But again, in today's world, who knows anymore? It's so obnoxious at this point. Apparently, I did a little bit of Googling on her, looked her up, and apparently that's kind of her shtick, is that she's a lesbian and she plays the, androgynous male or masculine lesbian, and it's kind of part of her comedy shtick. She's been a comedian for 30 years or whatever. But in a post, I believe it was on Instagram, and I think she actually shared it on her TikTok as well, she actually called for Donald Trump to be assassinated. And surprisingly enough, you've got a mainstream actress, apparently, from a fairly popular Netflix show calling for the assassination of the president or the former president of the United States. And nobody says a word. Nobody talking about this at all. In the post, she says a bunch of words that I can't say on radio without getting fined or fired. But she wants the former President Trump to do some inappropriate sexual things, apparently. And she says it's all-out war after a string of expletives. It's all-out war now. They will destroy us. They only want power, like all tyrants. More expletives. Quote, and if any of you, there's so many expletives I can't read it. If any of you want to death threat me like you've been doing for my entire life, bring it on. I'm Sicilian. She went on to say that she basically begging Donald Trump to be assassinated. She says, quote, Joe, you're a reasonable man. You don't want to do this, but here's the reality. This is war. We are fighting for our country. And again, I'm leaving all of the expletives out. And these are going to take it away. Thank you, Supreme Court Justice Clarence Uncle Thomas. Joe, you now have the right to take Trump out. Take him out, Joe. If he was Hitler and this was 1940, would you take him out? Well, he is Hitler and this is 1940. Take him out, blow him up, or they'll blow us up. It's crazy to me that these idiots are accusing Trump or the GOP, the Republican Party, of being tyrants and anti-democracy and all of this stuff. Yet here is a an individual with a fairly large platform. I don't know how many followers she has. I don't really care. Certainly more than me. She's more well known than I am. And she is actively calling for the assassination of a former president and a man who is currently running for president, whom has the support of literally millions and millions and millions of Americans. And we're the tyrants. We're the ones who are the anti-democracy crowd. If Trump gets reelected and they attempt to assassinate him, which at this point, it wouldn't surprise me if some wacko nut job who is that angry and is as crazy as this individual is, it wouldn't surprise me if someone does attempt to assassinate him. Like, this really isn't a joke anymore. This isn't even a far-fetched, oh, they would never do anything like that. We had an individual, thank God he called himself in and ratted himself out, but he called the police, said, hey, I'm at one of the Supreme Court justices' houses, and I'm going to go murder him. You should probably come arrest me. This is what the left has become. And again, before we say, oh, that's the fringe or that's whatever. No. This is a mainstream actor from a popular television show. And the news media is not even reporting on it. They're not even talking about it. You have a mainstream actor from a popular TV show watched by millions of people who made I wouldn't say a threat, but has called for the assassination of a current presidential candidate, the presumptive nominee of the Republican Party, and no one in the media is even talking about it. What do you suppose would happen if somebody like a conservative actor like James Woods or Rob Schneider or any other influential celebrity on the conservative side said, look, Joe Biden just can't be trusted to run the country. Somebody needs to go take him out. Somebody needs to go blow him up, or he's going to run our country into the ground. If I got on the air here and started making statements that, hey, you know what, Joe Biden is such a threat to the United States of America, his failed cognition, his inability to understand where he's at, and the fact that he's on a debate stage and thinks that he beat Medicare. He is such a threat to our democracy. Somebody in the United States military should go kill him. Somebody in the military should stage an operation to go assassinate President Biden. If I said something like that, how long do you think it would be before I would be fired? Because I promise you, if Toby heard me say it, I would probably be fired before the next commercial break. Certainly, if anybody in Cumulus leadership heard me say anything like that, I would be fired before the next commercial break. And I would likely be arrested by the FBI before I got home, or the Secret Service, or whatever. I mean, it's insanity. We have a mainstream actress, celebrity, comedian calling for President Biden to actually murder Donald Trump. And it's crickets. These people are absolutely out of control. They are absolutely out of control, and something needs to be done. This woman should probably be going to jail for terroristic threatening of some kind. But I'm sure she won't. And I'm sure that a bunch of these idiots in Hollywood and DC will applaud her for her bravery in speaking out against the anti-democracy tyrant that is Donald Trump. It's absolutely absurd. We'll continue with the Schmidt Show in just a few moments. It's News Radio 102.9 KRN.